Hello, you have reached the Defiance Illusion. How y'all doing tonight? I come at you with a humble book review, and these are books from way, way back in my past, but they're really good. One is The Great Conquerors of South and Central America by A. Hyatt Verrill, author of Old Civilizations of the New World. Now, this book is extremely old. I mean, we were reading this stuff back in the 70s. I mean, this is, and it was probably out 30, 40 years before that. I mean, when I say this book is old, this book is old. Let me see if I can find a quick date here, just so we have confirmation on what I'm telling you. Let's see. The Home Library edition published February 1943, reprinted December 1943. So this is actually the second edition. It's been out since 1943. Wow, nearly 30 years before I was born. And then an old good friend of mine bought this for me as a gift because I'd been talking about John Wayne's version of the movie, which I thought was absolutely extraordinary, and it's called Wake of the Red Witch by Garland Roark. And it, as well, was written in 1946. And this book, as you can tell, has had a lot of use. Extraordinarily good book. Here's the author. The other one don't have the author on it. Anyway, let's get to it. That was my short book review. I have gotten into this show called Pine Gap, and I'm just a couple shows into it, but it really reminds me of 24. Sorry, I had to put something in here. All right, here we go. It's very good, and it's very entertaining. It's very suspenseful. So it's got good elements. We'll see if they can keep it going. Also, and I don't know how many people are going to take this. There is a show called Drisdle. Now you'll have to read, unless you speak Arabic. You'll have to read, all everything they say. You have to read everything. I was really taken aback by watching this movie, and then I started looking things up on the internet, the history of it and everything. And I was really put back by some things I found out that I always thought that I knew, that I really never knew nothing about a lot of it. I knew a little, but I didn't know the whole story and which side did what and all that stuff between the Templars and the Muslims. And if you're into that sort of thing, Drisdle with Iturgo Bay, it's on Netflix. Yeah, Netflix is where you can watch it at. It is amazing. The swordsmanship in the movie, the way everything's played out. Myself, and I consider myself a pretty harsh critic. It was very, very well put together, especially for. I'll just say I was not personally expecting that great of a show. And the episode, the shows are quite long. And what I mean, the seasons are quite long. They're like one season's like 104 or 105 shows. Then they have like 88 for another season, 70 something for another season, and like 90 for another season. I mean, it's crazy. but it's very well worth it. I've watched them all. I mean, it rattles my mind to sit here and think of how much I thought I knew, and I really, it's like they say, don't judge a book by its cover, and don't read too much into things. And with that brings up another subject. I know a lot of people are not happy right now. God is going to sort this thing out one way or the other with what's going on right now here in America. But irregardless, we are all Americans. And it is our sovereign duty, as long as no one busts the Constitution or tries to amend our Constitution or whatever, or try to tear it up, or the Bill of Rights, as long as they go by the Constitution, Bill of Rights, then, it is what it is. And I'm very, my friends know that I'm very passionate about what, when we have those sort of talks, but I'm not going to sit here and bait or bash anybody. That's not what this channel's for. This channel is about transparency. This channel is about the truth. This channel is a fine channel. And me and two of my very trusted brothers have put a lot into this, and we're going to keep going. I will start doing more shows, more reviews. Aside from the political field, okay, we have an opportunity here to keep fossil fuels in America rolling, which keeps lower class, as they call it, which I hate that word because it sounds so stereotyped, but we'll just say the have-nots. It gives them a chance to actually be able to live, when they only got to pay $1.50 for gas instead of $5 like under the bushes. I mean, you got more money on the table. It goes without saying. There was a question that I have, and I'm not sure about the answer, so I'm not trying to start no hubbub. I'm not trying to get nobody in trouble. I'm not trying to start no stuff. It's a general question. And I've had it for a long time because, as everybody knows, I used to work in the automotive industry. And, they stole that from me. Not the other countries, the company. If anybody was illegally let go, it was me. And I got the proof of it. Talking 20 years, later. Young, dumb, stupid, whatever. But anyway, that old phrase, if I knew then what I know now, But, okay. Where they build all these cars in advance and expect Americans to buy them. Now, Americans have started going to Mitsubishi, Subaru. Subaru's nice. My dream car, either the Ferrari Spider, like they had it, I believe that was the name of it, that they had back in the 80s with Don Johnson in Miami Vice, the little black car. I loved that car. Or Alfa Romeo for me. Those are my dream cars. Not that I'll have them or anything, but, there's nothing wrong with a dream as long as you don't dwell on it like that. And that's not, I hate to keep on saying that's another thing. We need to check what we sit back and what we do. What you do today will affect generations to come. And if you do the wrong thing, the negativity from that can ring out throughout the generations, and that's not fair or right. So before you fly off the handle, you do any crazy stuff, please talk to somebody. I mean, what just happened in Tennessee, man? That's a true travesty. I mean, that's horrible. You know, um, thank God that the police officers was there. You know, as fast as they were. I commend them for their service. Also, I'm thinking of doing some stuff on farmsteading. I've been doing a lot of studying and looking up, and I might start telling you where you could get, cheap land or whatever on this channel to better your life, um, to get you a new business and become a farmer, which America drastically needs right now. Um, we need a lot more farmers. I mean, a farmer that has 15 acres and got some cows and sheep and chickens and ducks and the internet, solar paneling, wood burning stove outside, um, going into the tiny home or whatever, you know, doing bushcraft on your own property, hunting, fishing, maybe buy 16 acres and turn nearly half an acre into a big, huge pond, Uh, I grew up on a farm, not all my life, but we had a working farm. We had cows, we had chickens, we had all that stuff. And there's money to be made on a farm if you know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, research what you're doing before you do it. Now, one state that I've always been in love with, God bless them, West Virginia. Now, I'm a Buckeye all the way. I am not going to lie. Well, except for football. But I am a Buckeye all the way. I don't believe there's a better state in the Union than Ohio, and running a close second would be Texas. That's just the way I feel about it. Knocking nobody else, but that's just my personal feelings. Now, you can ring off on me that I expect it. Hey, however you want to do. But as a matter of fact, let's have a sound off. Everybody who watches this, have your friends check in and, let's sound off. Let's holler out and put your state on the soundboard, and let's see how far this thing goes, or your country. If this goes to another country, Canada, we have a few viewers from Canada. I've been noticing, and hello, Canada, how you doing? Welcome. And I got a couple of viewers from Mexico. Welcome, most welcome. Mexico, Canada, love you both. Feel free to say whatever you want. We're an open channel. If we don't know something, we'll find out. I've learned a lot by watching that Drisdle movie or show, Turtle. Yes, it's about the Turkish peoples over, over in Asia Minor, I guess. Man, I was so misinformed growing up, and they based that off their true history, that show. So it's really interesting. Check it out. I endorse everybody, check it out, keep an open mind, and sound off and tell what you think about it. I mean, it's really good if you don't mind reading, what they're saying. I wish they would have done an American version, or English. I'm not saying American. I'm sorry. I apologize. But English speaking version, so that we could keep up with it a little easier. But you know what? I feel privileged to have watched what I've watched, and it really opened my mind up. I mean, the places that I've seen on that show, that I pull them up on the internet, it's just amazing. It really is. It's amazing. Everybody is freaking out about the gun laws. Now, from my personal understanding, the only thing that he's really after is the 100-round clips. That's just what my personal understanding on it is. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. So don't take what I say to that on the bank, because, people could flip that switch in a heartbeat. They could switch up. I do know here in Ohio, the Senate and the House have gotten together and came out with 2 stand your ground bills in the past month. They're sitting on the governor's desk right now, and people are blowing his phone up. From what I understand from the rhetoric I'm getting on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, and different places, they're blowing up DeWine's phone, telling him to sign that now. So, the president is the president of the United States, but how we do business in Ohio is how we do business in Ohio. Okay? We got to remember that. And how we conduct ourselves in Ohio, we should be leading the way in prosperity first, in faith, then prosperity, work, and family. Okay? And I'm all for this downsizing thing, by the way. When I say downsizing, I mean going to tiny homes or whatever. I think it's a good idea. It saves energy. It's better for the economy. It keeps people in jobs. They're easier to maintain. If you got to move one, you can actually move it. But me, myself, I would want a septic system put in with running water and all that, That way you don't have to keep on taking stuff, and, that would be more of a job than what you got on your farm. So, me, myself, if I was going to do a small farm with a small home, I personally, okay, I'll tell you what I would want mine to be. First off, I'd want like 20 acres fenced in, of course. I'd want a pond on the back end stocked. I'd want a deer stand put in a tree where I can hunt deer wherever I find a crossing at, hopefully. Also, stock it up with a couple of rabbits here and there, because rabbits can take over quick, so you don't want to put a lot of rabbits on. Also birds, especially endangered birds. And then you post your property, no hunting except for owner. And you put surveillance all around your property. But, I'd like to have, some sheep, and or not sheep, maybe a couple sheep, and then some goats, and then, of course, cattle, chickens, ducks, and, be self-sustaining. And I'd like to have part of it a wooded lot. For squirrel hunting and things, like that. Plus, you put in your own garden when you're homesteading as well. You learn to can, which I already know how to do. The house, as far as the house would go, maximum I would want is a 2-bedroom. If I was single, 1 bedroom would suffice, with a real wood burning fireplace in it, real AC unit on it, and also, of course, the floor paneling, or not floor paneling, but the registers on the baseboards for the heater for the wintertime. And you could actually run that through propane, I think. But you'd also have a fireplace, so it wouldn't suck up so much propane with you running it off of the fireplace, throughout the winter. Another thing, I like the A-frame with a metal roof, and it has to be grounded, but I like the A-frame and all that because the snow, when the big snows hit, it just comes right down off the A-frame. You ain't got to get up there and scrape nothing down. Comes right off. You got an A-frame with a metal roof. But yeah, one bathroom, small eat-in kitchen. That'd do me fine. I mean, I don't know how other people think about it. And maybe have a satellite out there, so you got all time internet and your TV shows, whatever, whenever you're not working. That way you got some sort of entertainment other than, riding the property on the dirt bike or whatever. West Virginia, I want to say Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, which is up near the Canadian border. Well, North Dakota is right on the Canadian border, I believe. Yeah, it is. I used to drive through there. Colorado, I've not ran really into nothing that would be cheap, regardless of what you did. It's one of the more expensive places to live, especially Aspen. But it's gorgeous, man. It's gorgeous up there, especially in the wintertime. Oh my God. Especially, if you're like me and you love snow, it's like, oh man, get snow 6, 7 months, sometimes 8 months out of the year. That's freaking awesome, man. But I also like to ride a motorcycle. And in the wintertime, get you an ATV. For whenever you go hunting and stuff, you got an ATV to ride over your property, put a snow plow on the front, get a 4-wheel drive ATV and plow your driveway. That way people can get in and out. And you'd also have to have a couple acres for making hay and straw as well. It's a full-time job being a farmer. From daylight to dark, you're working. When you come in, you're selling on the internet. Hey, Craigslist is a wonder, man. Amongst other things that are out there now that are showing up in abundance to sell, like duck eggs and things like that. Sorry. There is a big call for things like duck eggs. Me, myself, I think that we need to have like some refuges where we could replenish some of the population of some of these wild animals that are becoming endangered, such as grouse and quail in Ohio. Very, very endangered. I'm hoping, matter of fact, I need to start a dialogue with Governor DeWine and let him know how serious because they need to restock the grouse, pheasant, and quail in South Ohio and take the hunting and have a pause for maybe just 2 or 3 years to allow them to take into their new habitat, forage for food. That way they know where to go and get used to things and start having chicks and families and things, and quadrupling their sizes over the next 2 to 3 years. And that's not much to give back. We can, as hunters, we can wait 2-3 years to hunt. But when we start rehunting, there needs to be strict stipulations as far as how many you can bag in a week. I think no more than 10 a week, on any species, when you're talking about bird. And I don't mean 10 a week per species. I mean, if you shoot 10 ducks in a week, or you get 5 ducks, 2 pheasant, and 3 quail, I know that's harsh, but we've allowed younger people to come in that have absolutely no sense and they just shoot things to shoot things. They kill things to kill things, not to mention the coyote population. By the way, in Ohio and I believe Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, now don't quote me on Indiana and don't quote me on Michigan, and also not on West Virginia. But Ohio, I know there's a representative from the southern part of Ohio. I believe it's the southeast part of Ohio that is trying to get us not only more money for the furs for the coyotes that we kill, but also putting a bounty on the coyote's head to begin with and paying you to do that. And they're stuck between $50 and $75 per coyote brought in. I think it's probably going to come down to male or female. It'll probably be $75 for a female and $50 for a male to bring the population severely down quickly. So I'll keep you advised on that if you're a hunter or a trapper or both. That'd be a quick way to make some good cash because, man, them things are everywhere. And if you know the woods and you know how to track, you can lay up and you can find them, and take a few out and make some good money. Bushcraft. I was going to do bushcraft this past year, but I still wasn't able health-wise, so I apologize. I owe some apologies out for that because a lot of people wanted to see me do bushcraft. It will be coming, maybe not this year, but the following year for sure, because I've got another operation coming up this year. So please, just keep me in your thoughts. Or not this year, this coming year, I should say. I got an operation coming up, and it's going to heal. My body's been through so much. I've had like 4 or 5 surgeries in the past couple of years. And it's just, you never think that you're going to be faced with this. And I was a horrible critic of certain things, we did for people. And now that I look at it and I've been put into that position, it's like, man, if we didn't have that institution, no fault of my own, I wouldn't be here. So, yes, I have faith in God. I believe in God, and I ain't afraid or ashamed to say it. I don't go into religion on here. What I do go into is book reviews, movie reviews, show reviews, music. I like to talk a lot about the 80s on here, as we've all seen, but I am going to broaden my spectrum to speaking more about small homes, downsizing, the benefit of it, and saving money and becoming more conservative, not only for yourself, but for your family and for your future generations and for America as a whole. Everybody wants the big castle and wants everybody has those dreams. I don't care who you are. Everybody's had them dreams, Everybody wants to be a king of a castle, And when you get the bill from the castle and the upkeep of the castle, we got a dog being bad right now, by the way. Stop. From the upkeep of the castle, then you wouldn't want the castle. Now you go check a smaller home, like a 2-bedroom house, in a neighborhood that's been run down that people are trying to build back up. To me, that's a very admirable thing to do. I really appreciate that. There's no sense in tearing every single house down across America that somebody's not living in. It is time to rebuild. Yes, but we have houses that we can clean up and refurbish and sell to families who are in need. People on disabilities, people who just don't have great jobs that want to be a homeowner should have that opportunity. They should not be judged by their skin color or how much money they make. If they want to own a home, they should be allowed to own a home in America. I'm sorry, I just feel that way. And I'm very passionate about that. I hate the whole racism thing. I think it's very bad. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. If we could all just come together, nothing could divide us or ever come between us again. You got to look past a man's skin and look at a man's character. Now, I want to give a shout out as well to Hobbs Horror, my buddy Styles, my buddy Odin, Pauline, Cincinnati Dumpster Diving, Scrap Dog, the Big D, Bronca. Also, give a shout out to CC Doom Room, my brother up in Canada, always cranking it up and talking about video games on his channel. And he talks about, he plays guitar on his channel. And he's a heck of a guitarist. So check him out. Really good. He's entertaining. He's funny. And he's always drinking and having a good time, So, hey, check him out. I will be working on my studio this coming year. So hopefully, when all this gets moved over and I figure out what's going on and everything's taken care of and the move takes place and everything, hopefully I'll have a area where I can put together just a tiny little studio and I can, soundproof it and I can do things with y'all, a lot more things. The stand your ground law, now, it hasn't passed the governor's desk yet that I know of. I checked it the other day and they said both of those bills got sent to the governor's desk for signature to pass. That everybody, except for like 3 or 4 people, voted yes, stand your ground immediately in Ohio, because the crime rate has been, as we know, pretty appalling. And we just, most people were under the idea that if a man didn't have to retreat all the time while people were running out his back door with his goods, it would stop a lot of the crime. It would. The general consensus on that I just spoke on, that little segment, it would take, like right now, just for instance, say we got 70% crime. They think that 40% of the crime rate off the 70 would come off. I kid you not. That's a huge difference. Ohio would be Ohio again. It would not be, South Bend, California. You know what I mean? Granted, a lot of people would move out of Ohio. And that's their business. If they move out of Ohio or they complain against the stand your ground law, they're either a racist or they are a person with bad intentions. That's just the way I look at it. That's clear cut, dry, and I don't ever want to see nobody get hurt for any reason whatsoever. I'm an avid hunter. I like to hunt with a bow. I love all that. To me, and you eat what you got to eat everything you kill. That's why I say, I have to eat 6 small portion meals a day. And I'm just starting to work out again. And I'm thinking about doing some workout videos as well. Not only Tai Chi, but Bagua, which is my Bagua. I'll have to go through and relearn some of it because it's been so long. But I know that when I was doing my Bagua, the fat just came off. I was much healthier. I didn't crave sweets. I had a much healthier lifestyle. So there's a lot to be said for discipline. Now, please, when you watch this, remember, I am an advocate for peace. Defiance Illusion is an advocate channel for peace. We don't want to see nobody ever get hurt. Please think before you react. If it ain't worth it, don't do it. Call the police. Let them do their job. You know, have two situations or have two situations, but you better be sure it's a have to situation, man. That you can't just make something up and come up with it. That don't fly, especially with all the eyes in the sky and everything these days. You don't want to do stuff like that. It's stupid. Be sure that you go talk to someone and have somebody take your stuff, whatever you own. I don't know. I'm not assuming. It's none of my business until you cool down. And stay away from that person or those people or whatever it may be. Just stay away from them. Get them out of your head. Take up painting by number. Take up reading. You know, nothing wrong with reading a good old-fashioned book. I mean, I'm bigger on the older books than I am on the newer books. I think they were laid out better. People had a better imagination. Now, some newer books are really good. But you know, a lot to be said for J.R.R. Tolkien and Garland Roark. You know, Wake of the Red Witch. Don't forget, check it out, man. Check it out. John Wayne even did a movie in this, so go look it up and watch the movie and then read the book, or vice versa. Now, today, I also got this in the mail from Warren Davison, Congressman, which I appreciate, Mr. Congressman. Thank you very much. This tells you what days that DC work week and Ohio work week. So this tells you, this breaks down when they're dealing with DC and when they're dealing with Ohio issues. Now that gun law will be on here, I can guarantee it. So everybody keep an eye on that. And remember the Second Amendment and the Third Amendment and the First Amendment. Period. End of story. And I'm not justifying anybody owning nothing that's crazy. So don't take that for that. But if you own a firearm, as I've said in previous videos, it is your civic duty to lock those guns up in a safe with a trigger guard on them for the everything but your home, you know, thing. But even though that one, in my opinion, probably wouldn't have a trigger guard or a trigger lock. I'm sorry, not a trigger guard, but a trigger lock. It should be put in the safe as well. Just to be, and Junior should never, ever, 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 for any reason, neither should the wife. Nobody should have, unless the wife has her own and she's responsible for her own. Nobody should ever, 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 ever have your keys to your safe for any reason. I am a believer in concealed carry. I'm a full believer in that. I am a believer in my Second Amendment rights. But I am a supporter and advocate for peace. Go to church and listen and learn. Somewhere along the line, we stopped doing that. We got to get that back. Now, I'm going to bring this video to an end. Remember, don't never lash out. Always go talk to a police officer. Seek help. There's help out there. Nobody ever wants to see anybody go out and lash out in anger. You know, there's no call for that. I don't care what's going on. Don't do that. Now, before I go, if you would like to see me or not see me, but hear me do more about farm and homesteading and things as a way of life, sound off, let me know. Please mash that like button, hit that, subscribe, and tell your friends about us, please. And we will do the same for you. With that being said, this is Gator from the Gator Nation, staying a Dayton strong with Defiance Illusion, proudly and humbly. God bless America. God bless you and your family. And may God give you the best year of all this coming year. This Defiance Illusion with the Gator, signing off. Dayton Strong. Peace.